Great. So you've gotten a glimpse into how you approach those kind of PBNs. Again, PBN is a private blog network. It's simply a collection of blogs that people typically have in their possession so they can do high-level contextual links and control the outbound links that are done. One important thing we'll talk about with links is you can get links all day from plenty of places, but the OBL, outbound links, determines kind of how much juice is passed along. So for example, just like relatively speaking, if I have a website that has an authority, like an authority score, like arbitrary, whatever, score of 30, and then has one outbound link, I'm pretty sure in most situations it'll pass along more juice than a website that has an authority of 50 or 60, but passes out thousands of links. It's just that Google knows it's more, I don't know, like a kind of a bigger deal. If it's like, hey, this website doesn't link out to everyone, it's a little bit more like coveted. It's a little bit more of a big deal for it to get a link from this website because it just doesn't go out to anyone. Of course, that's not the case for every single website. Of course, if it's something like Wikipedia with a amazing authority score, it doesn't matter how many OBL. If it's .edu, that's gonna be great. If it's from a news station not buried on like tier 8, it's gonna be great. It's just that when you can control the OBL, you definitely can control how much authority you're kind of passing along. So as far as getting the links, of course, if you don't have a PBN, which is 99% of people don't, you're probably going to end up maybe inadvertently buying a PBN links if you go to places like Conquer, Fiverr, Legit, Black Hat World, whatever else is out there. There's all sorts of things. So let's start kind of going through and seeing how we can kind of see what it's like to buy links from places and kind of make a little bit of sense of what's out there. Because at the end of the day, everyone buys links. If you work with an SEO agency, if they're not buying links, they're building links. If they're building links, they have to have resources. There's not really any such thing as white hat or black hat. If you're engaging in link building, if you're proactive with link building, it's black hat. That's just how it is. Like if you're doing outreach and you're asking people for links, it's black hat. If you're doing outreach and you're saying broken links, you're saying, hey, this guest article would be great on your website. Hey, trying to get backlinks, it's black hat. Deal with it. There's no one that's an angel. There's no one that's squeaky clean with SEO unless you just don't freaking touch links, which is the case for some people, and like good for you, I guess. Some people don't have to deal with that, and that's fantastic. So Fiverr is one of the more common ones. Yeah, if we're talking about like indexing, I'll get your website and backlink indexed. Like that would have been a thing that you could do instead of paying monthly. You can go through here. You can see all sorts of things. You can read people's reviews. This one is exactly what I was talking about. You'll get your website backlinks index on Google. How many URLs? That's how they do their structure. It's great. They have FAQ. Great. So that's going to be good for when you're building your links. You're going to always want to keep tabs on where your links are, and you're always going to want to ensure that you index them afterwards. So what you'll see on Fiverr is you'll just see like every single thing you can possibly imagine, $530. That the days of Fiverr being $5 are long gone. I think I've been using Fiverr. When was the last time I used it? No, the first time I used it. I think 9 years ago. I had a buddy that came over and he said, hey, there's a place called Fiverr. It's got 2 R's at the end. It's confusing, but how to use it isn't, because it's just $5 for every single thing on here. It's pretty outstanding to see that's gone up to $530. But who knows? Maybe it's good. You should go into it with a budget, read some reviews. I mean, we're talking about PBNs, but like these links are placing existing articles on real sites. I mean, who's to say what a real site is? Maybe you could kind of like, it's good to see some of people's reports. Like they'll show like before and afters, since links are like so much purchased mostly just for like money sites for money keywords. Typically if they have reports where it shows like, hey, this guy had like a money keyword and it used to be ranked 22 and now it's 4, you want to kind of see that stuff. You'll see that like a lot in the Black Hat world link building. I mean, we're just talking about like really just high level random stuff, but there is just like so much out here, and I'm sure that so many of them work. I love the graphics. I mean, all the things that you want to see are probably going to be here. You know, it'll tell you where your links are coming from, domain age, you know, domain authority 39, the trust flow is 27, page authority is 28. Like, yeah, that's all good stuff. Like, this is like a pretty reasonable stuff. This is like pretty much stuff that's like in the PBNs that we've done in the past. You're never going to get anything that's like out of control. I've only gotten DA40 several times. The majority of my websites are probably between 25 and 30. You know, the basis of it, this is pretty much what you're going to see every single time. Average GA 24, PA 22. That makes sense. Sometimes they supplement with social shares, get a little bit more of a signal from that. They're going to do unique articles, aka they're probably going to spin articles. That's my private network. See, PBN. So you're going to do research. I would do a little bit at a time. One thing you don't want to do is you have to be patient about this stuff. So you don't want to buy like 8 packages from 8 different people, send them all with like vanity keywords and money keywords all at once, because I don't think that's going to work. You're going to kind of overwhelm it. It's not going to be natural. And I haven't really seen like any penalties. I think it's very, very difficult to get a penalty, but hell, why don't you go for it, get a penalty and show me how much it takes for that to actually happen. I think that'd be thrilled, and I'd feature it on the podcast. Because I'm curious to know how much it takes to freaking overdo it and kill your website. So things that stand out to me that I would say, I'm going to open up a couple that seem to be a little bit higher up as far as what people have been discussing. So, you know, you'll see stuff like this. I don't know if that's entirely attributed to like their links, but you know, you read about it. I'm not sure what the off-page strategy is, backlink analysis, whatever. This is reasonable about a time. You kind of want them building links over like maybe like 2 or 4 weeks. I think that's pretty standard. I can't really tell you what's like a good price for anything, because it all just depends on the quality of what they provide. One thing that I could say is like, yeah, they're not going to mostly do adult and casinos because they don't want to link to that stuff. Google's caught on to that. Results might take a few weeks, but if you index it, it should take, it might be shorter. Wire backlinks important, obviously. Now, this is something that I'd probably kind of stay away from. 8,500 links is quite a bit. I mean, the thing is like, I don't know. That number is like very, I don't know. It's intense. It's an intense amount. I understand what tiers are. Tiers are pretty much links that go to another tier, which goes to another tier. And it's kind of like a pyramid until it gets to your website. So there'll be links from like a web 2.0 that go to like some random websites. And then those random websites will link to only a finite amount of the most real or presentable websites. And from there, they'll actually link to your website. So that'll, you know, garner authority, moving up, pushing up until the point it gets to a website that directly links to you. And those, by that point, almost like filters out the crap and pushes forward like the good stuff. So you know, I like check out Fiverr. I don't really get links on Fiverr. I get more like random stuff. I think Fiverr to me is a little too normie to be extremely effective for like good high level SEO. I tend to have had more results from like Legit. I've had some good results from Conquer. I think probably some of the best results you can get from any sort of service are more than likely going to be just like seeing what's up and what's trending in Black Hat world. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people have been all over those message boards for decades. And I think that as long as it's been around and people say it's legit, you're going to get the best kind of products and feedback from people that I think engage in SEO in a more advanced and professional way. And I think that some of these other ones might be a little bit more casual, and people don't really know as often if like the product actually worked as well as it could have of another product. So I'd probably look all the over there. And then in addition to building straight up links, of course you have directories and then you have citations. So depending on what your niche is, you know, we can do like list of industry directories, and that's another way to build links and visibility. So like list of legal directories would be something like I would search for. What do you know? Ours is right there at the bottom. good for us. It's the ultimate list. So sometimes depending on your niche, it's all laid out to you. It's another place. This might have to be manual, but you might be able to outsource it too if you like. So if you're in like entertainment or like weddings, maybe there's this one. I don't know what the heck this is. So yeah, just look that up, and you might have to do it manually, and you might have some salespeople that reach out to you that try to sell you upgrade profile, and just ignore their asses. Say, I'm just doing it for link building. I'm looking for your authority. I'm not looking for your other stuff. So yeah, that's kind of a general thing. Citations, I like buying citation like packages. Try to stay away from Yext. Try to stay away from Moz local. I don't think they really updated that much. You might want to you could use maybe like Whitespark. You might use Bright Local. I think a lot of that stuff is a little intense. So in some situations, you can go overseas for citations just fine. And, between, looking into your options for PBN based off our previous podcasts and our previous video tutorials, maybe being like a little bit prudent with how you purchase links, especially if you have a new website. If you have a new website that doesn't really have a basis of links and you get all of a sudden a bunch of high authoritative links, I just don't think that it doesn't like feel right to do that all at once. You have to be a little established before you start really turn up the juice, lighting that fire, getting that thing going. You really want to ease into something like that. And then, building up citations and directories are certainly a great start before you start doing some high level, high PA links. And then, from there, if there's like any particular way you can get links from other websites, whether it be friends or family or other websites you have access to, if you're out in your community, if you already kind of do like some engagement or guest blogging or guest posting or speaking engagements or charities or sponsorships or anything else in your life where you can naturally get links, of course, that's actually better than absolutely anything else you can do. If you can get your whole link portfolio going based off that alone, of course, that's ideal. It's just the thing is, SEO is just a battle of, who's going to be the most aggressive and who's going to use the resources that are out there, the most and the most efficiently. So sometimes you can play by your rules if you have the right things in place and you have the right access to the right resources. But otherwise, if you're like most of us, you're going to be weighing your options and just, engaging in whatever you can to compete in your industry and market. So hopefully that's like a pretty good overview. So I've got some good visuals, got a good idea of how link building kind of works. If you don't know much about it before, I probably didn't even explain what the point of link building is, but of course it's how Google deems you're authoritative. And then one last thing I wanted to say is guest blogging. People really like engaging in guest blogging and being like, oh, cool, I'll pay $50 to have this post on someone's website. Almost all the time you're just engaging in a PBN. Because doesn't it look a lot like the website I had? So it's basically a website they put up and they probably built their own authority to it. And now it's pretty authoritative. You buy a guest blog on their website, you're engaging in a PBN because it's their blog on their private network that looks like crap that they spent time putting up. And there's no difference between it. And I don't care what you say. Every time you buy a guest post, you're a proponent and you're supporting PBNs. And there's not, it's how you look at it. I don't look at it anything else besides you're just trying to do link building. But I don't think there's no holier than thou going on with that because all these are, you can just see it right here. This is a PBN. Obviously, it looks like trash because it is trash, and all the blogs on it are just going to be completely random generic stuff for a contextual link. So like I said, link building is extremely vital for your SEO strategy. And if you're worried about doing anything that could be considered black hat, just don't do link building. And that's that. So I hopefully you enjoy it. See you on the podcast. Feel free to leave any comments or suggestions or likes or whatever in the YouTube comments. I'd be more than happy to follow up with anything. And if I need to go in any direction with video tutorials, let me know about that too. Thanks.